Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here coming at you with a dauntless video. Not official gameplay or anything. I did say in my last video I was officially quitting, and with them adding Radiant Escalation, nothing's changed. I'm not gonna pick up playing the game again. No. They've already done the damage they've done, and they need to do a lot more to make up for what they have done. But this is going to be more of a video on what I think Phoenix Labs could probably do and things that they could work on to maybe bring people back into the game, at least in my opinion. Um, so yeah, first thing I'd like to start off with is in-game. I don't think that in-game has a purpose. There is nothing for in-game. What do you get for being max reforge or, being at the having the best of every build that you could think of? Nothing. Yes, you kill stuff fast, but there's nothing to grind for it once you get to in-game. There's just nothing, and like the only thing that you can show for it is just a number, that shows that you just play this game a lot. And I don't really think that that's good for the dedicated people who have been playing this game for a long time. I just don't think that that's the best thing to do. I think for in-game, you can make some changes towards just a bunch of things, really. Give people goals that they can achieve once they are at in-game that can show that they have reached that level, that everybody can achieve. It's not just for people who have been playing the game a long time, or, it can be something that everybody can set their sights on to try and get to, and, reward people for it. Actually have things that people can show off and prove that they did it, not just, oh, random chance or whatever from an event item that nobody cared for. I don't, that just doesn't seem right to me. Sorry if I'm nasally. The next thing I'd like to talk about is pursuits. I think pursuits should be back in the game. I am so tired of having to do something specific, having to go to a hunting ground and have to waste an unknown amount of time just to fight this one behemoth that isn't even going to spawn as a guarantee immediately, and or like I have to just keep resetting until it spawns, and even then I have to do this multiple times just to do one thing. No, I would rather have pursuits back. If you don't know what pursuits are, as you're more newer to the game, pursuits are basically you can select the specific behemoth that you want to fight. That way, if you have a challenge or something that you need to get, you don't have to hope that they spawn. You can instantly go fight them. But that was how the game was back in the day. It was more pursuit, instant based. You only had one fight, boom, you're done. You're already back at Ramsgate. It was a little tedious as there was a bunch of loading, in between doing everything. So I get that that was a thing that people didn't like, but I think bringing pursuits back would be a lot more helpful for just everybody in general. Next thing I'd like to talk about is rumor quests. I absolutely fucking hate rumor quests with a burning passion, and whoever decided to make them the way they are, fuck you. Straight up, go fuck yourself. I'm not being nice about it. They take way too long. They require way too fucking much, especially for something that is just like a helmet transmog or a weapon transmog. It's not even like a whole armor set or a whole set of weapons. No, it's just one piece of clothing or one armor change, weapon change. We can tone those down. They don't have to be like 7, 8 separate little mini quests. You can just have one quest. If it's like a hammer, what you can do is just slay this many behemoths with whatever the transmog type is. If it's ice or, frost, use frost weapons and slay so many behemoths with the ice hammer. deal so much damage. Simple stuff. You don't have to make these a bend over backwards circus act just to achieve them, especially the axe one. Fuck that one. That person should be fired. Straight up. It just feels like they're trying to force you to, instead of doing these challenges, you see them and then you're just like, well, fuck that. I'm just going to buy it with platinum, because they're so ridiculous. Because I remember the one that I did that I absolutely hated doing. I had to, the last like main step I had to do, and by that point I was ready to just be done. I was almost about to give up. Was I had to defeat a Frostback Pengar. Okay, doesn't sound hard. While he was Aether formed, okay, doesn't sound hard. And while he was mad. The issue with that is I did way too much damage with the build that I had that I would get him to have health before he would even rage or be Aether charged. So now, sorry, I'm sitting there trying to wait for him to do either of those two things, and it's just not happening. Like, no matter what I do, like, I'd start damaging him while he was enraged, maybe try and get him to, like, a fourth of his HP left to see if he'd transform into being Aether charged. No, he would never do it, and it took me way too long to do that challenge. And I remember all I got was a chest piece that was a little bit different than the one that was in the current battle pass. And I just thought, wow, that really wasn't worth it, because I'm not going to use that. Really, I wasn't. Like, yeah, it looked a little bit cooler than the one you got from the battle pass, but at the end I was just like, no, that was not worth my time, and that could easily be fixed. You know, Next thing I'd like to talk about, though, is trials. Trials are just an absolute fucking joke. Nobody thinks of trials as good for the game at any point in time. As when trials first came out, I remember hearing about it, and I was just like, well, I'm never going to do that, as I see no point in it. Like, that's only for, like, 1% of the fan base actually loved trials and wanted to do trials. And I mean, maybe if the rewards for trials and stuff like that were actually worth doing, other than, like I said, an armor die and a crown are like the only two things I think are worth it. The rest are absolutely fucking not. Like, the armor set's terrible. There's not even like a better version of the armor set. It just looks like trash, And most of the time the trials are just super boring and just there's nothing unique to them. They're just way too many modifiers against certain behemoths. They're just not fun. And I just think that if you're going to have something like that, you want to make it, one, worth doing, two, something that allows for build diversity so it is achievable with almost every weapon, not just what's the best, at the time. I could be wrong on that one, like, a bunch of other things, but I just feel like there are certain builds that just work way too well against certain trial behemoths with certain modifiers, and that's all it is. It's just, oh, new trial came out, go to YouTube and figure out who's already uploaded a video showing you how to do it without dying or whatever, it's just how to left click or what. It's just, it's boring. I absolutely hated doing trials, and I'm probably never going to do them again. They're just not fucking worth it. Moving on to the next topic, reforging. I think reforging was a good idea at first, but then you realize after doing it a couple times that that's it. You don't really get anything all that grand. Like, yeah, the axe reforging gets you more power, but it's not a lot. It's just, they're all minor things for the weapons that you reforge. And I think just no. You shouldn't have that. Like, best way I can describe it is just that it could have been done better, and it could have been more worth it to do it, you know? And then as well, you could have had like reforging milestones that, you know, encouraged wanting to reforge past 10, you know, because when you get to 10, that's when you get the last upgrade for the weapon tree in the Slayer path. But after that, there's nothing. So there's literally no point to reforging unless you're grinding out battle passes, because when you reforge, you know, and then fight tougher behemoths that you know you can handle with your weapon, because, you know, the build is still the same build, just the damage output is heavily reduced, you know, then fighting those tougher behemoths gets you better hunt pass XP. That's all it's good for, you know, in the end, other than just bragging about how much fucking dick you suck about how many times you reforge. Yes, I know I'm not any better because I'm sitting at like the 30s with my pistols, but that's the highest one I have. The second highest is like chain blades before they got ruined, in my opinion, to like 14 or 15, I think. That's my second highest. Everything else is lower than 10 because I just no, just no. I just don't want to fucking do it. It's just way too much shit. Takes way too fucking long to get back to 20 if you're not just, you know, having a shit ton of bounty tokens, or you're just paying to increase the XP gain. You know? Like, yeah, I think the fastest it could take is maybe like 2 or 3 hours with no bounty tokens, but still, I just think it's just way too much. But I'm going to move on now to hunt passes. I think with the newest update, Phoenix Labs literally fucking shot themselves in the foot and just expected everybody to be okay with it. They ruined hunt passes in this latest, or the last update. The one that I made a video on is why I'm quitting, because it was just the last straw. You know, you can't just change a fundamental thing that has been a part of your game for so long and then make it worse. Somehow they made it worse, but they did. And so they expect people to not only grind one hunt pass that is now just resources, and they've now made it longer to grind, but then they want you to go ahead and then grind a second one, or even a third one if you hadn't gotten that hunt pass's items. I also noticed in the hunt passes that they're bringing back, they're adding items that weren't a part of the original hunt passes to try and incentivize people to get them. As with this newest one, they added the ninja stuff from way back when Dauntless first came to consoles. Now, when looking through it, I had everything because, you know, I got it. But they also added a new face cosmetic or another mask that wasn't a part of the original Hunt Pass, and I think that is fucked up. Because now you have this item that wasn't a part of the Hunt Pass that is now included in it for no reason instead of just adding it into the shop just to try and get people to buy a Hunt Pass. And I don't think that that's right. One thing I think that can be done to fix this solution is take away the resource Hunt Pass. Like that was, I don't ever remember seeing anybody complain about resources really. The only thing I remember seeing people complain about resource wise was goddamn bounty tokens. People were tired of losing all the bounty tokens they had at the end of the season. Like that was it. That was the only resource people wanted to have more of, you know, which they finally listened to that like way too fucking late, you know. But you can easily get rid of that hunt pass. That it's not necessary. And then we can to fix the solution, go back to how they originally were. Go back to the hunt passes not giving you all your platinum back. Yes, that sucks for some people, because then not everybody can get every hunt pass. That's fine. I think some people were okay with that. It's just like if you didn't want to get a hunt pass and only get 600 platinum back, you didn't have to get that hunt pass. You could easily just wait till there was one that you did want. But the upside to doing that was basically how it worked was every 2 hunt passes you bought, the third one was free. You know, I think that was fine. I never once had a problem with that at all. I don't think anybody else did either. You know, going back to that, I think we should also go back to the traditional hunt pass, to where you don't have to do 2 whole armor sets. That you don't have to. But at least bring us back the original, to where we got a weapon transmog for everything for that hunt pass, and then we got the cool armor set. We need that back. Like, if you're gonna do hunt passes, that's what they are. I don't. If you want to, just turn what the reward caches are into the hunt passes. That's it. Just do that. There you go. I think that'll at least reduce some grind for some people, because then they just have the one thing they have to work on. You can still have the vault. I think the vault is probably one of the best ideas that Phoenix Labs has added into Dauntless. Absolutely loved it because I missed a Halloween hunt pass because I'd kind of gotten a little tired of Dauntless. Took a break, missed a couple, and then I came back after that hunt pass, but they added it into the vault eventually for a certain time, and I could work on getting those items. That is perfectly fine. I think that would kind of help because then, you know, Phoenix Labs is now getting consistent money aside from just people needing to buy a monthly pass to get more XP or whatever. You still can have the items in the item shop that are a little bit cooler than the hunt pass stuff. That's always just been a thing. That is fine. I think your prices are a little too pricey for some of the items, but, you know, not a negotiator. Just, it's not my whole thing, but I think you could easily reduce some of the pricing for some of your items, bring back hunt pass prices and stuff like that. You'll be fine. You know, some people might hate me for suggesting that, but I think it would be a neutral thing. Like, yes, some people aren't going to like it because they're so used to just getting their platinum back from every hunt pass, and you not getting any money. It's a free to play game. You got to make money somehow. That I understand. So doing that would easily return that situation back to what it was. Because I don't remember people complaining back in the day about having to buy more platinum to get a new hunt pass that, they wanted. Never have I heard that. I just would always hear people didn't think that this hunt pass was that great, but they were at least happy that the cosmetics were at least worth, equipping and using eventually, or, mixing and matching with other stuff. But now we're going to move on to the next thing as balancing and builds. I think that there's been a lot of balancing issues in Dauntless since day one. Some things were just more overpowered than others, and other things were left in the dust. Warpike! But, it's just me. As well as I think that there were some builds that were really good and fun in Dauntless that I think could have been left in Dauntless because they were fun, that were just shot into the ground, and it kind of sucks because, like, best one I can say was like when Frost Escalation came out, pistols were kind of in a rough spot, but then somebody made this video showing off a really cool pistol build. Basically, you gained shields, and for every like 50 shield you had, you gained an increase to critical strike chance. So basically, you had an infinite shield that you could gain because dealing damage gave you a, like, I don't even remember how much it gave you, but you could basically, as long as you didn't get hit and could deal damage, you could infinitely build a shield. It would reset in between each escalation fight, but still, it was worth doing and it was fun. It made me want to play repeaters again because it was so much fun. Then after that, they had the Molten Edict build. That was really fun. You easily just spammed meatballs on the ground and just deleted behemoths. Yes, those two builds are specifically a little broken, but I think that they were fun, you know, and it would have been something I think they could have kept in the game and not had to ruin, you know, but that's just me, as I think those builds would have enticed people to want to try like a new weapon. You know, if you think that those builds were too powerful, well then just make changes and add things for every other weapon in the game. So then everything could have these fun, crazy OP builds. You know, then everybody wins. Everybody has fun. You know, yes, you're deleting behemoths and stuff like that, but that's what was so fun about them is that you could just have fun with it. And I just think that there's been a bunch of balancing changes as well to other weapons that some didn't even need. Like, I don't touch chain blades anymore since they added the new update to them and changed them completely. They're just not a weapon I use anymore. Like, I was a chain blade main until that repeater build crossed my mind, you know. Then I became like a hybrid, a repeater chainblade build. I was um, the fist build, or a fist user for a good while, because when I came back to Dauntless after taking a break, that was the newest thing. But I think it definitely could be, there's some builds and changes and stuff like that that I would like to have back. That could be fun. But yeah. All right, so the last and final thing that I could think of to talk about is escalations and hunting grounds. More hunting grounds than escalation, because when escalations first came out, it revitalized the player base. People were enjoying escalations. Escalations were fun. Um, you know, the amps were good. The amps were fun. But then they got ruined. You know, some amps were made almost impossible to get in a run. Some amps got nerfed where they're not even worth picking up casually anymore. Like Thrill of the Hunt, that one used to be a really good one. Now it's just dog shit. Um, there's probably a bunch, but I can't remember all of them. You know, um, you follow that train of thought. You have a new thing that you can do. You have a new behemoth that you can fight, and you have this new thing that you can grind for a free full armor cosmetic set. I also believe it was a lantern. I think a banner, little emblem that you could use. I thought it was really cool, and then you had that for every single element, which was pretty cool. You know, we get to Frost, so then everybody's just like, all right, the last one elemental wise is Radiant. Everybody was already expecting Radiant Escalation to come out like over a year or so ago, and we're only just now getting it, which I think that's a fuck up. Straight up, that's just a fuck up. One thing I would have loved to have seen after Radiant Escalation would have been a neutral escalation. Like, where's the neutral love? Like, nobody cares for neutral weapons anymore just because, instead of them having more raw damage, everybody just wants the elementals. That's fine. But I also think that we could have had a pretty cool, like, neutral behemoth to fight. something. Because you only have Nasher, Coolshot, and Shrike. Those are just the three neutrals. Like, that's it. Then you have their, tougher counterparts. But that's really not that great. Like, every single other kind of behemoth type has received one or two new behemoths that has included the neutral variants as the new behemoth types, you know. But I'm probably going on a tangent a little too long. Anyways, you know, so there's that. Escalations. I think we're doing good. But then all of a sudden you add in hunting grounds. I don't think hunting grounds were bad. I thought that they were good until you really needed those specific behemoths, like I mentioned, for pursuits. Then the issues start glaring up because then you're just waiting for this one behemoth to appear. And if you're doing a shitty rumor quest that requires a specific behemoth that only spawns on one hunting ground and has a very low spawn chance, it's basically saying get fucked. That's all it's saying. And I don't think that that's good. I don't think that those were good at all. I think hunting grounds could have been done better. I think they were a good idea. Um, could have been implemented a little better. I absolutely hated the whole Radiant behemoth that they did with hunting grounds. That one, no. Just fucking no. I am never getting that item. I'm not even going to do Radiant Escalation for those items because that should have just been done way back then. Too little too late in my eyes. Could say I'm being a little too harsh. That's perfectly fine. But these are things that they could have done a year or so ago. Not now. Like, actually, just Christ, man. Just why? But um, we also have heroic escalations. I think yes and no. The whole point of them is that they're a challenge. But the problem is you have to do it so many times for all of the different escalations just to get one crown. Like, that is 5 weeks of work for one piece of gear. No. Just no. That's just not good. I did it the one time. I absolutely hated every single second of it because I was just like, some of these fights are just ridiculous. Like, if I wasn't using some cheese builds, which was like the only way to do heroic escalations at that point, there's no way I would have done it, honestly. And that just goes to show that they just weren't thought out. They were just like, oh, hey, something that's tougher. The people would love that, right? What about the rewards? Oh, well, just give them a crown. Well, do they get it their first run? No, they have to do it like 5, 6 times just to get the one crown. They get to choose? Yeah, they get to choose what crown they get, which I think is okay. But the crowns themselves are kind of just, they're just a crown. Not that special anymore. Considering like they just give crowns away. Like, the first crown I actually knew about was like the Halloween event one, which is only for the Halloween one. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm never gonna remember that. The next one the one I actually got was just the friendship one because at the time, me and a friend of mine were just playing the crap out of Dauntless, grinding away with our pistol builds during Frost Escalation, and we did the Slayer Link. Eventually you get it. It's just random chance, of course, and it's not based on how many times you do it. But eventually I got that crown, and I was just like, well, that's okay. It's a white crown. I can probably use that with almost any armor set build or whatever, and it'd still work. But, eh, you know, eh. Let's see what else to think. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I absolutely want to talk about in this video because I think it's already pretty long. Probably the only thing I can think of that really matters the most is Phoenix Labs. You just gotta listen to the fans. You actually gotta take the feedback and the criticism and learn. From what I've understood, they haven't put out a single apology or anything about anything that they've done. They just expect you to be okay with it and to roll over and take it. That's not good. We don't want that from a company. Nobody wants that. And as a company, if you think that that's okay to do, to just release these updates that aren't good for your game and shoot yourselves in the foot and push your fan base away and push them to go play other games and rather than come and play your game, then that's an issue. And if you guys say that you're going to do these changes and updates and things that people have been wanting, and then you don't do it, and then when people get mad at you and you just act stupid, it's your fault. You gotta take some responsibility for what you've done as a company and the things that you do. If you say you're gonna add these cool little pets into Dauntless that we have, but then it's like 2 years later or whatever, and we still don't have them, you know, where's the update? Like you said that they were eventually going to be coming in, and now they're just not. Like there's been a bunch of changes and updates and promises that have been said or shown light onto that, people were kind of excited for that have now just been shoved under the rug and then tossed in a dumpster, set on fire, all that stuff. And just, it's not how you go about it. Really take into consideration your content creators, your fans, people who enjoy and love this game. Because at this rate, you're not going to have that many left. Like, there's already a skeleton crew of people still playing the game just because it's free to play, just because they don't have to spend any more money on your game. But you got to start doing some things for the players, for the fans, for the people who've been here for years. Otherwise, your game will die. And I think the people who actually did love Dauntless and thought it could be something more than what it was don't want that to happen. We really don't. And for anybody who's going to complain and say I'm not showing any gameplay, that's perfectly fine. But somebody who used to really love playing this game and really enjoyed it, I think I've talked long enough about things and changes or things I think could be done to help improve the game. If I missed anything, by all means, you could leave it in the comments. Or if somebody can somehow get this to a Phoenix Lab person eventually and hopefully they see it, that'd be cool too, but not expecting it to happen anyways. But this has been Mr. Pilgrim. Hopefully what I've said some people can understand and relate to. If not, that's okay. But hopefully the changes or things I've said do reach, as I think that this game needs it. It really does. Otherwise, it's gonna die, and it really sucks. Really sucks. But I'll see you all in the next one.